Joining water pipes with a push fitting or whatever nomenclature or whatever brand name one desires to use, or whatever brand name one desires to, or whatever the box store may carry. So essentially this particular fitting will push up on here onto the pipe, and the one with the beige looking or the tan looking on both sides is normally conducive for PEX pipe, copper pipe, and CPVC pipe. So if you see the fitting and it has one side beige, one side gray, this would be for polybutylene. This would not be the appropriate fitting for this. So just make sure you have the right fitting, and also make sure that you know your pipe sizes. For instance, make sure that you make certain that make certain that it's ½ inch and it's sized appropriately. For instance, ½ inch and ½ inch. So if you have a ½ inch pipe, you'll need to get a ½ inch fitting, and etc. So and then inspect your fitting. Make sure you don't get a 1/2 by 3/4, because they do make a 1/2 by 3/4, which is great often, and sometimes it'll get you out of a serious pinch. And but just make sure that you know what size pipe you have according to what fitting, and both of these should correlate to each other. But the question is, when installing this fitting, okay, once it's on, the question is, how does one remove the fitting once it's on? Okay, let's reiterate. Once the fitting has been installed, say this push fitting, or whatever one wants to call it, once it's on, how do you remove it? There are several different tools. This particular tool here is these little gadgets here. They're very inexpensive, but you can get one of these, or a couple, or 2 or 3. But just like the pipe, make sure you have the right size. So here we have a ½ inch, we have a 3/4 inch. So again, 1/2 and 3/4. This is ½ inch pipe, so we will not need this particular fitting here. Now we have the ½ inch. So essentially, you just take it and stick it onto the pipe like so, and then what you would do is take your 2 fingers here, your index finger, and then you would hold the pipe with the other hand and try to hold it tautly on this end. And then you take these 2 fingers. Of course, somebody might want to do it differently, but generally, my opinion is, the way I do it is just take the 2 fingers here and hold this with the other hand, with the entire hand, and pull. And if it should come off. Now, do keep in mind one thing to be aware of with this. Note that one side of this little thingammy is kind of flat. So I like the flat end on here. And I'm not saying this is correct or incorrect, but one may have to fact check it or figure out what works for them, and it may work either way. But the other side is kind of rounded, but this flat side is the side that would go onto the fitting. So it would go here, and it would go, so the flat side in this particular case here would be this side. The kind of rounded side would be this side. And I think the idea is the flat side pushes this little kind of quick release or tab or whatever. It pushes it all the way in. In this particular case, it would push it back this direction. In this direction here, when you pull it with your index finger and your 2 fingers, not your thumb, but the next 2 fingers, and when you pull it, and it pushes this little thing gum in here, and when this is in, I think perhaps the flat surface may give you enough surface to where it actually just pushes this back. When I say this, I'm just talking about this little small part here, and it pushes it back. And then once it pushes it back, if you pull it, it should release, and the fitting should come free from the water pipe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.